name is Jack Costa-Russell, and this is my presentation on the impact coral bleaching is having on the Great Barrier Reef. The Great Barrier Reef, located on the northern coast of Queensland, is a vast series of corals, home to thousands of species, including the butterfly fish and the hawksbill sea turtle. The corals themselves are a living organism that acts as a food source for many species and as shelter for many more. But now this delicate ecosystem is under threat. Global warming is causing water temperatures to rise, which is having a deadly impact on the coral of the Great Barrier Reef. Due to the change in water temperature, the coral turns a ghostly white. This is caused by the symbiotic relationship between the coral and the algae, known as zooxanthellae, breaking down. Once this breakdown occurs, the zooxanthellae is released, causing the coral to turn white. According to Coral Co. 2016, it is thought that only 7% of the Great Barrier Reef has avoided bleaching. It is this bleaching that impacts the inhabitants of the Great Barrier Reef. The purpose of this presentation is to determine to what extent coral bleaching is impacting the Great Barrier Reef. The methodology for this included the use of Google Scholar, Google, and the Curtin Online Library to search for terms related to the inquiry topic using keywords Great Barrier Reef, coral bleaching, impact, ecosystem, animals, and wildlife. I found Curtin's library to be the most helpful, as it provided access to a large array of sources helpful to the investigation. I determined the source's credibility by first reading the sources for uses of emotive language, which may show bias, and eliminating them if I did find bias. One of the problems I encountered was the broad range of sources that only give information about the impact global warming has on coral bleaching. These sources were of little or no use, as many of them did not give accurate assistance or answers in finding a solution to the impact coral bleaching has on the Great Barrier Reef. Key findings on this issue included how coral bleaching affects the butterfly fish and the hawksbill sea turtle. The butterfly fish uses the coral as a food source, feeding off algae in and on the coral. However, coral bleaching limits food intake, and so the fish numbers dwindle. Climate change impacts on fish 2007. The hawksbill sea turtle cycles nutrients and assists in the maintenance of seabeds. Bardoff 2014. Without them, coral growth becomes restricted and severely alters the seabed structure. Wilson, Moore, Allison, and Magliocca 2010. Further investigation is needed on the overall impact reef bleaching has on the coral itself and on the impact coral bleaching has on other species that call the Great Barrier Reef home. I believe that this investigation could be suitable to fourth-year science lessons. Year 4 of the Australian Curriculum Science Understanding Strand Biological Sciences states that living things depend on each other and the environment to survive. Akara 2015. This perfectly describes the relationship between the coral and the zooxanthellae, as well as the relationship between coral and the species that reside within the Great Barrier Reef. This could be incorporated into the classroom by use of a food chain to represent what each animal needs to survive and what happens when one food source is taken away and the knock-on effect this has within the ecosystem. Thank you very much for viewing this presentation. I have been Jack Costa-Russell, discussing the impacts of coral bleaching on the Great Barrier Reef.